Hi, Jim Laird from Jim Laird Strength and Conditioning. Suzanne from the Misfits asked me to kind of elaborate on her blog post a little bit. Suzanne has been kind of struggling with self-care, with taking care of herself. She's been struggling with getting sick, getting run down, burned out, that sort of thing. She has a really intense travel schedule, lots of kids and activities. She works at a job out of state, so she's in and out of town all the time. And she's a type A type person. So in my experience, working with people since the mid 90s, your type A person is generally the hardest person, the most difficult person to work with over long term. They have a really hard time slowing down. They have a really hard time shutting off. So when they are struggling, it's really important to kind of back their training off a little bit to allow their body to get healthy and so they can adapt to training. And so a few ways to do this is one, cut volume way back, work on reducing volume, increasing quality. This is a really good chance to work on technique, things like that. I like to add chains or bands sometimes so that they get a feeling like they're lifting heavier weight, but they're not lifting as heavy a weight from the floor, so it doesn't beat them up quite as much. Working on, like Suzanne really struggles a lot with single leg stuff, so doing a lot more single leg stuff. That's not quite as demanding on the body, but is going to help her get better. And working on just form and backing down. If we're doing a heavier day, backing her percent, backing off by 10 or 15%, and just working on quality. You'd be shocked how easy it is to maintain strength or even build strength if you back off a little bit from time to time and just focus on doing things better. And one thing with somebody like Suzanne that really helps is Suzanne uses the Joel Jamieson HRV app, and for myself too. For years I overreached and pushed through when I should have rested, and I got away with that for a very, very long time. And when you have somebody who's like a type A who really loves to train hard, it's very easy for them to push through. So when you have something like the Omega Wave or like Joel Jamieson's HRV app, and you can see your score like gradually going down, even though you're setting records and all that sort of thing, it kind of, and you can usually see when you get sick, that number's been coming down or injured. So when she every day wakes up and sees her score, she knows that, hey, I need to put more effort into sleep and eating and relaxation and that sort of stuff, so to earn the right to train hard. Because if you want to train somebody for like a lot of the clients that I have that have been with me for 10 or 15 years, you have to be really smart. You have to be able to train within their body's ability to adjust. And everybody's different. Some people, you can beat the living crap out of them and they'll survive anything. That's a very small percentage of people. Most of those people are playing football on Sunday or doing some sort of professional athlete type deal, or Navy SEALs, or they're even those guys have their limits too. But those kind of people, you can push them and push them and push them, and they just drive through and they drive through. And then most people, don't take really good care of themselves. They don't eat well. They don't sleep. So you really have to pay attention to, how, soreness levels. How are they moving? Are they moving well? Looking at the way they walk in the door. Are they walking in all like this? Or are they walking in bright and excited and ready to train? So you kind of have to look at the way they're carrying themselves. And sometimes the best thing to do with somebody is to just get them moving and get them on their way. And that's actually what they needed on that day to get better, so that they can get to a place where they are in a good place, where their body's able to handle a bunch of stress so they can train and then improve and adapt from it. So that's really the biggest thing, is as a coach, looking at your clientele, adjusting what they can handle according to, their situation. A lot of times we'll have clients, going through divorce, or they had a death of a family member. That's not really a good time to start trying to, set records and build capacity. Some people will be able to do that through frustration, but over the long run, if you're really struggling emotionally and you've got a lot of stuff going on in your life, and you're doing those white buffalo in the sky kind of workouts, like Rob Wolf, to quote Rob Wolf, that's usually not a good long-term strategy for most people. So just keep that in mind, that the better you take care of yourself, the harder you're going to be able to train. And that, your preparedness level is going to fluctuate as well as your strength level. And then picking and choose your times to push and picking and choosing your times to back off. That's really the art of training, and that's really what is going to separate you as a coach from a good coach. A great coach is who can adjust that on the fly, and make changes. And there's nice things like technology like the HRV app and the Omega Wave that give you an actual picture of what's going on. You can also use grip strength for that. You can test grip strength. You can test vertical jump. There's different ways that you can do heart rate in the morning to test to see where people are at if you need some data to kind of figure out what's going on. But don't be afraid to back off. Don't be afraid to work on form and technique. Work on some different modalities. Work on some weaknesses until somebody can get themselves in a place where they're in a good place where they can be pushed a little bit. So there you go.